hey, hey, do I sound like a Red Indian? Maybe I am a Red Indian. Oh. No, what I'm doing, I'm sitting here. It's a Sunday night. I'm trying to work out how to do a song or anything. Just make some noise, you know, anything. And one of the major kind of problems is just recording, you know, just trying to get any kind of sound into the 8-track. And sometimes you can't think what to do, you know, put the keyboard in or play a piece of guitar music. But I'm not really concerned about that, because I'm more concerned to see if this microphone is working well. And it looks pretty good to me, you know. And even it makes this thing called it's a p noise. And so what they do is they have these protectors, they have these black mask things that stick on the front of the microphone, you know. And I just think it's like a lot of crap. But when I get into kind of more powerful microphones, more expensive ones, once they start singing they don't want to be going p. Whatever, anyway, it's all shit. So basically I'm just going back to talking, because at least when I'm talking I can test the sound afterwards and see how it goes, you know. Because I've been doing some recordings and they just seem to sound like shit, you know. I make these recordings and then I'll do something on the internet. I'll play like a video, like these French videos of these women that are like young women talking, and I just wanted to use them like backing vocals, you know, not actual singing, just like backing speak. And it was sort of pretty good, and it sounded great, you know. I got the headphones on, listened to this on the 8-track with some of my music that I'd put, and I thought, hey, it sounds good. And when you record it and play it back in the computer, it's like it loses something, and then it just sounded crap, you know. And that's the problem with recording, you know. You record stuff, unless you're like in a big expensive studio, you can soon lose your confidence with this. It just depends on what your sound is like. So I've kind of gone off my mixer. I'm going back to kind of direct input into my 8-track, because mixer's great to use it, you know. And even then I didn't use it. About 3 other things you can do with it, you know. You send it to control room, you know, like in a disco, and send it to like a control room, and then, you know, then they have these other inputs for stereos, and oh man, it's just fucking too much, you know. It drives you insane, all these different things, and you can't do them because you just have a room full of plugs, like I have. I've got like a room full of sockets and plugs plugged in, and I've had my electricity actually overload. I mean, now the thing is, the overload could have happened here at the sockets and the plugs, you know, the sockets and the plugs that are plugged in. I've got loads of them, and electrician said, oh, it overloaded, and he went and he got some fuse wire and he just put some new fuse wire in, charged me fucking 80 quid for it. Extortion, you know. It's like a 20 quid, 30 quid job, not fucking 80. And that's what they're like, you see, in Britain. They're all like fucking gannets, you know. He's put a bit of fuse wire in. He's not like he's fucking built a plug or built a socket, put on a new thing and fucking a big protector on it so as it never overloads again. So anything you do in this room, if you put an extra, plug something extra in, 1 or 2 or 3 things, it'll fucking overload. Like in the background you'll be able to hear a heater. Now with all the plugs I've got, if I put a heater on and a second heater, it won't overload, but if I put a third heater on, it will overload. So that's like 2 kilowatts 4 kilowatts. Now the thing is all my other equipment that I'm plugging in, it's nothing like that kind of wattage. It's not even in there. I think it's like so many volts. It's not even watts, you know, of power. But it frightens you see, because when you've overloaded and you've blown your fuses, it scares you see. The amount of stuff you've got plugged in, you think, oh fuck, if it blows again, it'll cost me another 80 quid. But here now come to the sting in the tail, the rub, and it could have been the fucking electricity coming into the house, not the circuits blowing because of this room, but the circuits just blowing because there's too much electricity coming in from fucking electricity substation. So that makes you think, you know, electrician charges me 80 quid, but no, it was me that overloaded the electricity. It could have been the electricity company, so they could pay the fucker, couldn't they? They could pay the electrician the 80 quid, but they'd deny any knowledge. They'll deny any knowledge. They'll say, oh, it's you overloaded it. Shit, it's the incoming electricity. Because what I've got plugged in here is nothing really, even though there's a lot of plugs. It's, you know, like 15. No, I've got about 10 sockets. They're not all full neither, you know. So what I'm thinking of doing is like unplugging the lot of them and starting again. You know, I've just shifted my 8-track recorder around, but it's too big a job because it's all set up a certain way, you see, to make recordings, and then you get sick of making recordings. You have no inspiration for it. You just think, oh shite, you know, I'm sick of it. And I've got these recording microphones, and I could have a recording microphone right up to my mouth now. But you forget how to use them. You forget, you know, you start using them a different way to pick up sound coming from my keyboard, and that sort of creates a crap sound. So it's just about impossible to do stuff with a load of equipment. I think that the lesson is the more equipment, the worse it's going to get. When I was just putting stuff into 8-track, more or less fairly direct, with my drum machine and my bass guitar, my electric guitar, it fucking sounded great. And then more you piss around with mixers, it's just to get experience, you know, to see how it works. It's all very good and it'll work, but you know, it's unnecessary really. So I've got a load of stuff there, just duplicating, inputting sound. And finally there's the business of actually making these things. You know, why do you do it? Why would you want to? It's like, what am I doing with my life? I've got no choice because I'm looking after my mother and this is my little hobby. I could take up painting, couldn't I? But painting is so messy, and you've got to concentrate really hard when you're painting, you know, like scrunch your eyes up and get your paint, and you've got to fucking mix your paint and then make a painting on canvas, and then it'll be crap. And it'll be crap for years, because if you're not a good painter who's been doing it for a long time, it just look like fucking like a mongoloid, like a cretin, a subnormal person has been drawing or painting. You've only got to go in art gallery and look at stuff, not the really good stuff where women look like women and men look like men, and women in costumes from the 19th century really look like women in costumes, and houses really look like. Talking about the lunatics like from the Polytechnic and stuff when they took over, and what they do is they paint something and it looks fucking nothing like a house, or it looks like something a 9-year-old kid has done, you know, a 6-year-old kid. And so it can't be called art, it has to be referred to as shite. And things that get away with it because they just do it fairly big on a canvas and they stick it in there and exhibit. And so because I used to walk around the art gallery a lot, I love going in there. You can see all the classy stuff, and the classy stuff's been there since the 1930s and the 1880s, and it's brilliant, and really great artists have done it. It's really difficult to be like that. And my problem is that I want to be a great artist. I want to be like a painter or a guitarist, and I get fucking sick of it. Sick of making recordings, trying to do this, because I don't get a penny out of any of it. Which leads you to the final kind of conclusion about professional music and recording and musicians. It's just a big con, you know. They've been playing, they can play well, and a recording company will give them a recording contract, and they'll produce it, and then they'll take over control of it and sell it. And all the shareholders, and there's like millions of shareholders, they're all out to make a fast buck, aren't they? That's what the music industry is. So then you've got to decide what you want to buy and what you like. And then when you buy it, you've got to think to yourself, well, what are you fucking listening to this lot for? Why are you listening to them? What are they going to tell you about anything in life? They're only giving opinions, they're only trying to influence you, tell you how to think, tell you how to feel, you know. And some of it, there's a certain amount of empathy they're telling you, and you relate to it, and you love the music and that. But ultimately, if it's not you, it's shit. You know, you've got to do what you want to do, and that's what I'm saying now, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm just asserting me again, and that's the end of my recording. Yeah, and then what I'm going to do with this one, well, maybe I'll put my drum machine in, maybe just put some drum beat to this, but I'm crapping myself, and I mean, it should be okay, but plugging in stuff, it frightens me now in case I overload the fucking the fuse box, and I don't know how to put another piece of fuse wire into the fuse box. You know, you've got to turn it off, and you've got to have a torch, see what you're doing, and then somehow you've got to fucking take the old fuse out, and it's probably quite simple, and put a new fuse in, and I fucking can't do it. That's my song anyway, it's called Fuse Box. That's what I'm going to call it, Fuse Box. Fuse Box from hell. Fuse box, fuse box, fuse box from hell. And it is a fuse box from hell, because it's like an old system. It's probably better than modern fuse boxes. It's just I don't kind of want to go in the cellar and start pissing around with it, you know. They call it rapping, don't they? You know, they have a good rant about stuff and then they call it rapping. Well, it's shit. That's what they're doing, and they're making loads of money out of it, going out fucking talking a load of shit about the way they see the world. And then they've got the cheek to fucking become millionaires. There's millions of people buying it, you know. And, well, bollocks to them, that's what I say.